The only good thing about President Biden being in office is that we get to see what a box-up job he's doing. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad. But if he hadn't gotten office, then we never would have known. Everyone would have been saying, well, if he only had the opportunity. Well, he has the opportunity, and we see what he's doing. And I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. It doesn't sound like it, and it doesn't look like it. And I hate to be the one to say I told you so, but actually I don't hate to be the one, but I wouldn't have risked this devastation. I wouldn't put America at risk, and I wouldn't have sacrificed all that America has been through just to say I told you so. But since it has all happened and it's all happening now, I might as well tell you, I told you so. And I'm hearing that there's a lot of people that voted for Biden that regretting it now. And I don't think as many people voted for Biden as the records show, because we're still uncovering this voter integrity, the voter fraud, and these machines, and these mail-in ballots, and all these mail-in ballots that's found on the side of the road and in the ditch and everything. So, but nevertheless, some people I'm sure some people did vote for Biden, and I'm hearing that some people are regretting that. And I think anyone that has any concern for America, has any concern for a free country, has any concern for preserving our way of life, will also feel the same. Biden is doing a terrible job. This is the worst president ever, and I don't know. I don't know how we're going to recover from this. I mean, we have to recover from it. We have to. Otherwise, the America will fall. But it's just the fact that we're at risk of losing everything under the Biden administration, and he's not even really the one in charge. He's just a storefront. And I mean, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean, he's not even in charge. We don't really know who's pulling the strings here. And that's the scary thing. And see, this is a country. Not only is it America, but we're a country that other countries are looking at. We're very vulnerable right now. And as civilized as we are, and as civilized as other countries have become, people attack vulnerability. And we're very vulnerable right now. And a lot of things about our country is up in the air. So, I told you so. And I'm wondering, where are all these other people that, had so much to say? Every step of the way, everything that President Trump, everything that he stood for, everything that he tried to do, they criticized every move he tried to make. And yet, President Biden gets to run amok and run the country down into the mud, and virtually nobody's saying anything. And see, now, and I just want to say, because I got other things to do, but I do want to say that President Trump, all the things that he went through, and how they beat him up and disrespected him, and the media went against him, and the media, didn't want to show how much support he was actually getting. And see, now we understand why the cameras never did a full scan of how many people attended his rallies, because they didn't want America to see how much support he was actually getting, because they knew that the election was going to be rigged. But, believe what you want at this point. But Biden, he just gets a free pass. Nobody jokes about him. Nobody Um, you know, I mean, very little people even challenge. I mean, compared to what was going on with when President Trump was in office, you know, he had the whole world against him. Celebrities were coming out and criticizing him, and Trump wasn't doing anything illegal. He wasn't doing anything unconstitutional. Biden is just running amok. He just doing anything, any old type of way. And I'm gonna tell you, I gotta tell you, I am surprised that America is still intact at this point. And I'm just praying that it stays this way and until things get better. Because this is not good. And this shows you the restraint and the discipline that the Republicans have and the conservatives have of this country. You know, because America is built on rules. America is built on the Constitution and law. So nobody's breaking the law. Well, not the Republicans, you know, but not in a major way. There's things happening here and there, but I'm talking about, I'm just glad that things are still intact as well as it is, as considering how bad that it is. I mean, they just want to just change the whole Constitution, just spend taxpayers' money any old type of way, without any regard. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. That stimulus, those stimulus checks that went out, that was just a fraction of what the package consisted of. The American people that were out of work and haven't paid rent in a year, they only received, I believe it was less than 9% of what that stimulus package consisted of. That was pathetic. And I'm going to tell you another thing. The prisoners that received stimulus checks, the stimulus check, I don't have nothing against the prisoners. I hope they get telephones. I think everybody at this point, in this day and age, should have a cell phone. You know, unless they have proven to be some kind of way where they're a threat to society, even if they have a phone in prison, I believe the prisoners should have telephones, so they can call their families and take care of their business and talk to their lawyers or whatnot. You know, they're in prison. You know, I don't think, I think that every human being, I think the prison system need to come out of the medieval era, and everybody should have a cell phone. But the last time I checked, you don't pay bills in prison. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have rent. You're not paying for utility, you know, gas, light, and water. You don't need a stimulus check. I'm sorry. You don't need a stimulus check. You already on taxpayers' money, so you don't need a stimulus check. You're not $20,000 behind in rent. So, in my opinion, that was ridiculous. I'm sure they're glad they got it, and you know that's fine and dandy. But let's check this out. Money supposed to go to, you're supposed to put money where it's most effective and where it's most needed, especially when you're talking about taxpayers' money. Hard-working people that has bills to pay and that were forced out of work. They're the ones that should have got the bulk of the stimulus package, not illegals, not prison inmates. Now, if you want to give these people, especially the illegal aliens, if you want to give them what's left over, if there was anything left over, but this is not the time. Why wait for an epidemic to want to give prisoners something? You know, nobody has never thought about the prisoners, not in a major way, not on a major scale. Has anyone considered the prisons and updating the prisons and getting the two men out of the same cell, prisons and everything? But you're going to wait for a pandemic to to send money to the prisoners. When you have the people here in this country, hardworking Americans, hardworking tax-paying Americans that were forced out of their jobs, forced to stay at home, forced into debt. Every penny that was available should have went to the American public, the hardworking Americans. And sending designated money to illegal immigrants. What part of illegal is people struggling with? I can't do anything illegal. And yet we having all these arguments and all these debates and all these fights over what the illegal should get. See, you don't want to go down that route. Oh, and while I'm on it, because I'm going to close, but while I'm on it, what are we going to do without the policemen? See, you know what? Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, but it does say somewhere in there that man will become so wise that he become fool. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what comes to mind when I see all of these stupid suggestions about defunding the police. Okay, if I defund the police, then when something go down, who I'm going to call? See, the people that's sitting on their hands, there's a lot of people that don't agree with this, but they're not speaking against it. You better start speaking against it. You better start putting the politicians in the office, the ones that's talking with some sense, and the ones that have some integrity, and the ones that really have America's best interest at heart. Because all this foolishness that they're talking about now is detrimental to everybody. Not just white people, not just black people, not just the Chinese, not just Mexicans, not just the Indians. This is detrimental to the country. Not just the rich people, not just the poor people. This is detrimental to everybody. Not just the ones in the good communities, not just the ones in the bad communities. Everybody. Not just the suburbs, not just the inner cities. Everybody. This is detrimental to North America and South America. The north part of America and the southern part of America. This is detrimental to everybody. And everyone that is not doing what they can, using their voice, using their platforms, applying their money, supporting the leaders, supporting the activists, supporting, doing whatever we can to preserve America. Because just like how they did President Trump, and you thought it was going to stop there. A lot of people, whether they were for Trump or against him, they thought, okay, this is a Trump problem, not my problem. Now we see that it's everybody's problem. And when you get to a point where you can't say anything, now I've seen some stuff on YouTube. They say YouTube are censoring people as well. I had to make sure they wasn't towing my car. But they say YouTube is censoring people as well. I don't know. We'll see. But I tell you one thing. When you get to the point where you can't say anything, we need to stop relying on this technology. We need alternatives anyway. Because they say the private industry, private platforms, they can do whatever they want. They can censor anyone they want. Okay, we need to bring back other platforms because we've become too reliant on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and now they think they can just do whatever they want. And the way, and I was just blown away when Twitter censored President Trump and closed his account. I was like, the president of the United States, you see, we talking about free speech. And see, and to me, I think it was just a test, just to see how far they would go. And when they were successful, then so now, they feel like, okay, we can do whatever we want to whoever we want. It wasn't the fact that he was white and rich and a man had nothing to do with it. The fact that he was the president of the United States and they treated him like that, it was so much disrespect of the president Trump that I even had to chime in every now and then. It was like, you don't respect the president. If you can disagree without being disrespectful. And now we got Biden. But I'm gonna tell you the problem that we have with these these demons, not all Democrats, but the demons within the Democrat system. Our problem with them don't stop there. We have a problem with God. We've been lukewarm. We've been just silent and condoning all type of abominations and everything. And I'm going to tell you, we have a problem with God. God is allowing this to happen to wake us up. And if we get out of this, we're going to have to change our ways. We're going to have to be more godly. We're going to have to recognize God in different things. We're going to have to put God back into the school, back into the classroom. We're going to have to put prayer. When they made the Constitution, our forefathers, George Washington, when they made the Constitution, they prayed first. And those of you that don't have any religion or have different types of religion, America was founded and built on Christianity. And I know some of you young people, you might not have really fully realized that, especially if you're not educated and your mom didn't tell you anything, your daddy didn't tell you anything, but America was founded on Christianity. All this stuff that's going on, this is new. This is relatively new. America didn't put up with all this abomination at the beginning. But over the years, over the decades, they keep chipping away at Christianity and Christianity values. And now, look what we're up against. I think we can come out of it, but we're going to have to come out of it the right way as Christians, as God-fearing Christians, because we're looking at Satan and all the lies and all the games that they're playing and all the backdoor deals. This is also something that God is not happy with. This is happening because God is not happy. God is letting these demons rise up as they are because he's not happy with what's happening in America. And you see, it's all up and through America. The court system done lost their mind. We got different major industries lost their minds. We got celebrities talking out the side of their neck. People act like they done lost all kind of common sense. We're having arguments over stuff that's too stupid to even talk about. I really applaud the warriors, the ones that's trying to preserve what's decent and what's right and have America at their best interest. I applaud them because some of the conversations that they've been subjected to in Congress and court, I wouldn't even be able to have these conversations because I can't have stupid, idiotic conversations. How do you make sense when the conversation itself is stupid? I applaud them for going through that type of stress and possessing that type of skill and subjecting themselves to that kind of stress, trying to stand up for America. And I think if you enjoy your life here in America and you enjoy your freedom and your liberty and your free speech, and you enjoy seeing your tax dollars spent wisely, then you would stand up and support the ones that's advocating for putting America first. You don't have to support Trump. You just need to support America. Trump is, I think that would be a good start. I think he's the man for the job. I want to see him back in office. But even if that doesn't happen, I don't want to see America to fall, because that would be like, what's that, cutting your nose to spite your face. So you want to see America fall because you're not a big Trump fan, or because you don't like the way that he talks too aggressive. He's a man. I know a lot of us haven't seen real men that often. Some of us have probably never seen a man at all, because everything is so watered down these days. He's a man. He's a real man. And while I'm speaking about men, that thing about Kurt Franklin. See, you know what? See, okay, first of all, the conversation was recorded illegally. Yeah, I know it was his son that recorded it, but he recorded the conversation that he was having with his father illegally. Second of all, Kurt Franklin is a man. Yeah, he's a man of God, but he's a man also. And his son is also a man. So it wasn't like he was talking to a 12-year-old like that. His son, as far as I understand, he's 30 or whatever, but however old he is, 27, 30 years old. So that's two men talking. And they were upset. But you know what? The conversation shouldn't even went that far as the public is concerned, because it was recorded illegally. See, people need to pay attention. Stop being so emotional and naive about different things, especially when you don't have the facts. So as a grown person, sometimes you might have to cuss a person out. That's something I don't do. I can, over maybe once every 20 years, I might have to say something rough to another person. But as an adult, when you take things out of content, adult conversation, and you take it out of content, you don't know what you're talking about, or you just manipulating the situation to suit your narrative. But yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with Kurt Franklin cussing his son out, if his adult son out, if he saw fit that it needs to be done, because we don't know what type of history they got together. And I've always said, even when I was a kid, I always felt that celebrities should have a right to privacy. Because even as a child, I realized they're human beings. And everything about their private life is not our business. And just because they're rich and famous, and you wish you were rich and famous, and you're envious of them, so you think you just should be entitled to just know all their personal life. Stop acting dumber than you are. It's time for everybody to be an adult. Because I'm telling you, first it was a Trump problem. You thought it, so that you thought. A lot of people thought, oh, well, this is just a Trump problem. This is everybody's problem. It always was everybody's problem. And you see how people are fleeing to America? Because being here in America is a good thing at the moment. But it's going to be short-lived unless you stand up for something. Don't be so comfortable where you just let any and everything happen to you. Support what is right. And stop spending your money with people that's trying to drag this country down. Get your life together, get your spirit together, get right with God. Whether America rise or fall, you need to get right with God.